Okay, so we've got the initial support plan here. Just the first thing to say is if you haven't done an ECT at risk form yet, then please make sure that you have done that. That's a Microsoft form, and that allows us to kind of keep track of any ECTs at risk. So if it's been highlighted that there needs to be some support put in place, that's absolutely fine, but we need to know before you actually write this support plan. So please make sure that you've done that. Okay, so just filling this in, this is the most up-to-date template. So if you have had previous experience of using this document, there is an extra box. So you do need to make sure that you've got the most up-to-date version. So here we've got Mel just as the ECT, and I am the IT. Okay, so the IT should be responsible for this. So if you're watching this and you are the mentor, you should not be doing the support plan. It should be the IT. So please make sure you speak to your IT about that. So you can see here we've identified that subject knowledge is the issue. And I'm going to go through where those came from in a little bit. The start date is going to be today, so 12th of September. Mid-plan review is going to be in 2 weeks' time, so that's the 26th of November, and then the plan will end 4 weeks after on the 10th of October. Okay, so here we're going to just do a quick brief outline of the evidence. So you can see there's an example here, but obviously this is slightly different example. So we've got teaching standard 3 is going to be our area for concern. So really here, this is just getting really brief overview. How do you know that subject knowledge is actually a concern? So I'm going to say that in a mentor meeting with Mel Marshall and the mentor, which is Ben Tainch, subject knowledge of Key Stage 3 key text was patchy. Okay, then unfortunately during an observation by BT on the 5th of September, misconceptions were not addressed and there was incorrect content on the PowerPoint. Okay, so really specific pieces of evidence. So we've got a bit of a pattern arising and we've got this support plan in place really quickly. So something's not quite right. There seems to be patchy understanding of the text. So in this case, we'll just use Blood Brothers. There's a patchy understanding of Blood Brothers. And then when we went in to see the teaching, there were some misconceptions the students had. So they said, oh, that was said by Mickey, or it was said by Edward, or whoever, and it wasn't addressed by the teacher. And then there was incorrect content. Okay, so this is where we're laying out why the ECT needs a bit of support. And this is what this is for. Okay, so this is saying this isn't quite right. We're going to do this to help you to make sure that you do get back on track as quickly as possible. Okay, so the first thing is the objective link to the teacher standards. It's going to be teacher standard 3 again for subject knowledge. Okay, so we're going to be really specific here. So this is where support plans fall down a little bit. So if we could put, for example, improve Key Stage 3 English knowledge, well, that isn't going to be achievable within a month and it's not realistic either. Also, we can't just put improve subject knowledge because that's not realistic either. So we're going to have to be really specific here. So I'm going to put improve knowledge of, and I could put Blood Brothers here, but I would be worried that actually if the ECT is feeling a little overwhelmed already, then saying just generally improve Blood Brothers subject knowledge isn't going to work. So I'm going to break it down into Act 1 knowledge. Improve knowledge of Blood Brothers Act 1. Okay, so how will I know, and how will the ECT know that they've actually achieved it? Okay, so we're going to need to be really specific here. So I'm going to say that there's going to be an assessment of Mel's subject knowledge by completing a short quiz on Act 1 of Blood Brothers. Okay, so that's going to be the first thing that we're going to see. I'm also going to make sure that I need to address this misconceptions of not being addressed and incorrect content in the PowerPoint. So there will be subject knowledge will not be a concern raised during lesson observations. Okay, so we won't see any kind of miscontent, or we won't see any lack of kind of picking up misconceptions. So here, just thinking about what I'm going to type here, I feel like there needs to be something about misconceptions, but I'm not sure that that's going to be achievable, and I don't think it's realistic. So I'm going to just leave that, and that's going to be our 2 success criteria. But I'm going to just add in, just so that it's really specific. So I'm going to put Mel Marshall will score above 90%. Okay, so that's really specific. Okay, so then what support am I actually going to put in place, and what are the school going to put in place? So I'm going to arrange observations of experienced staff teaching Blood Brothers will be arranged. And then I think there needs to be some sort of recommendation of where this knowledge is going to come from. So JBU will share 5 videos with Mel Marshall to enhance her subject knowledge of Act 1. I'm also going to share a PDF of the text, and I'm going to share a full scheme of work. Okay, so here is now where we're going to kind of pin this down. So what actions are going to be taken and who's going to actually take them. So if we think back to the success criteria, first off, I'm going to just address this one. So Mel Marshall will sit an assessment of Blood Brothers Act 1 on, and then I'm going to say that we probably want that to happen just before the mid-plan review, so I'm going to put the 24th of September. Okay, then Mel Marshall will read Act 1 and will watch all of the videos that are shared. And I think I'm going to say that that's probably a week that needs to happen, and that is achievable. We've got an English ECT here. You hope they'll be able to read an act of a play within a week and to watch 5 videos. Okay, so that's starting on the 12th, so that's going to need to happen by the 19th of September. Okay, then I'm going to take the pressure off them and arrange the observations. So JBU will arrange all observations and support with any cover that is required. Okay, and again, I'm going to make sure that that happens in the next week. So I need them seeing some good practice, and I need them seeing this content being taught effectively. And then we'll share all videos and documents. Okay, and I'm going to do that today, so that's going to happen by the 12th. Okay, so then when we get to our mid-plan review on the 26th, this is when we can then review those comments. So what was successful? How did it go? Did you get above 90%? If so, then that can go green. We can rate that. Has their knowledge improved? When we've been in lessons, subject knowledge wasn't an issue. Okay, so before the 26th, we need to make sure that we're popping back into lessons and seeing that. Okay, so that's how I've taken something that could be quite broad, subject knowledge, improve subject knowledge. I've linked it to a specific area that we've seen some concerns in, and then I've offered a really clear SMART target. So is it specific? Yes, it's Act 1 of Blood Brothers. Is it measurable? Yeah, we've got this 90%, and we've also got observations not noting any sort of issues with subject knowledge. Is it achievable? Yeah, we've got 2 weeks to read one act of a play and improve subject knowledge there. Is it realistic? Yes, I think it is realistic. And is it time measured? Absolutely. Okay, so that's how we would write a SMART target for a subject knowledge enhancement.